Alright, let's look at the homework 4.1, problem number 10. Alright, so we want to find the absolute maximum and absolute minimum of this given function here. Alright, so let's take the derivative. Alright, so f prime of t is equal to, derivative of 2 cosine t is negative 2 sine of t. Alright, and derivative sine of 2t would be plus cosine of 2t times 2, because derivative of 2t, right? Then so we have this guy right here. Alright, it looks like we can factor 2 out, so 2. Alright, so you have a minus sine of t plus cosine of 2t. Alright, then we have to use the trig identity. Cosine of 2t is same thing as cosine square root of t minus sine square root of t. Right, but this is not particularly useful because this guy is sine. So let's write it in terms of sine. So this is also 1 minus 2 times sine squared of t. Right? So let's put that guy in here. So we have 2. Alright, so it's going to be a negative sine of t plus 1 minus 2 sine squared of t. Right? And actually I'm going to factor out the negative sign too. So negative 2. Then I'm going to put 2 sine squared of t and plus sine of t minus 1, because we're pulling a negative sign out. Then we can actually factor this out, negative 2, right? So this is going to be 2 sine of t times, let's sine of t. Alright, so let's see, we have to have a positive sign, so it's going to plus 1 and a negative 1. Would that work? Negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. 2 times 1 is positive 2, plus negative 1 times 1 is negative 1, which is positive 1. So this would work out. So set that equal to 0. Alright, so this will give us, right, so setting this equal to 0, so sine of t is equal to 1/2, or sine of t is equal to negative 1. Alright, so let's look at the find a critical number from here, and drawing a number line. So draw a unit circle. Right, then draw the x-axis here and the y-axis here. Origin, right? 1, negative 1, 1, negative 1. Alright, so sine represents the y-coordinate on of the point on the unit circle. So we want that to be 1/2. So 1/2 is right here. 1/2. And then you can see that the point that we are looking for would be right here or right there. Right? And but remember that let's see, angle is from 0 to 2 pi. So actually this guy is a little too big, right? Because this is bigger than pi over 2. So this is the only one, right? And this is 1/2, and this is 1, and this is square root of 2 over 2. So it's a 30 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree triangle. So this is 30 degrees, which is pi over 6, right? So this tells you that t is going to be equal to pi over 6, right? And 5 pi over 6 is too big, so we're not going to look at that. Alright, then also sine is equal to negative 1, so which means that the y coordinate is negative 1, which will be just that point. but you can see that this angle is way too big. It's not between that. So this is not going to give us a useful critical number. So this is the only critical number that is on this interval, right? So we need to look at 3 places, right? So you can see that the 0 is a possibility, and pi over 6 is another one, and pi over 2, right? So let's evaluate those values, right? So f of 0, right? So cosine of 0 is 1, so it's a 2, plus sine of 0 is 0, so it's just 2, right? How about, or maybe I'll give a little bit of room here, right? How about the f of pi over 6? Alright, so cosine of pi over 6 would be square root of 3 over 2, right? And the sine of, let's see, pi over 6, actually sine of 2 pi over 6, so sine of a pi over 3, right? So it's a sine of 60 degrees would be square root of 3 over 2, right? So that's going to be, so we can cancel 2's and 2's, and that's, if you add them up, it's a 3 square root of 3 over 2, right? And how about the last one, pi over 2? F of pi over 2. Alright, cosine of pi over 2 is 0, right? And the sine of pi is actually 0, right? So if you plug in pi over 2 there, so that's 0, and cosine of pi over 2 is 0 too, so therefore that's actually 0, right? Then we have to see which is larger, and the smallest one is going to be this guy, so absolute minimum. Alright, and then let's see, so we have to compare 2 and the 3 square root of 3 over 2. Let's see, that's a tough one. I'm going to actually cheat a little bit. Let's see, which is bigger? I have a feeling that this is bigger, but I'm going to use GeoGebra to decide. So you can see that, let's see, 3 square root of 3 divided by 2 is actually 2.6, so it's definitely bigger. So we know that this is going to be the absolute max, right? So let's type it in. Alright, so we have absolute max is 3, let's see, 3 square root of 3 over 2, and absolute minimum would be 0. Alright, let's submit for testing. Alright, it came back, and looks like we got this one correctly. Alright, that's it. I hope that this was clear.